Hey, this is Russ. I'm still out here at Busse Woods. Yeah. This would be the third ride for you guys here. One was getting here, one was doing it. Now we're riding the opposite direction. Now you know that I like doing opposite direction videos because things look a little different. Here we're going over this bridge. Traffic down below us. So going around Busse Woods here is an 11-mile ride. If you go totally around, come back to where you started, it's about 11 miles, give or take. And it's usually a lot of people out here, even on the weekdays. And weekends, forget it. I don't have any fun coming out here on the weekends. It's too many people then. Let me talk about taking a swig of water here. When I drink the water, I usually throttle while I'm drinking. I don't want to think about pedaling and drinking at the same time. So it makes it easier for me. For me, a thumb throttle makes it easier for me. I have a hard time just constantly holding a position. For me, if you watch my thumb here, if I just kind of push down a little bit and hold a certain position or give a little bit more, to me it's a little bit easier that I have something to hold on to. So that's why I kind of like this. Now, this one was made by a gentleman named Kevin Fitzpatrick. He's on the Facebook group called the Rad Power Bikes Owners Community, something like that. I always get the name of the forum wrong, but he's the guy that makes this, and he sells them. They're 3D printed. These are really good. He does a really good job on it. I've ordered 3 of them from him in the past already, and so one of them is sitting in here on this Rad bike, Rad Rover 5, and then my wife has one too. Okay, I did do a semi-stop there. I tried to hit the brake. I'm talking and looking at this. I didn't hit the brake on time. Anyways, my wife has one on her Rad Mini Step Through 2. And so on the Magicycle, I have a 3D printed one that I got the library to make for me. It was a video that I made. You can download that file. But if you go to that site where you can download, there's another one on there. Just do a search. When you get to that site looking for the one that was on my video, do a search for thumb throttle. Okay, and you'll see there's a thinner one that's out there. And I'm having the library print up 2 of those for me right now. I called them on Sunday. They've had it for almost about a week. I just wanted to know if they're finished. I asked for 2, and the guy says, yeah, they haven't printed it yet because they had some projects that other people had submitted. There's one project he said that they're working on right now. He said it's already been 8 hours and it's still printing that one project. 8 hours. To do a thumb throttle, they told me that other one that I had printed up took 2 hours to do. So if this new one is anywhere like that, it's a smaller size, so I would imagine it would finish up a lot faster. But let's say it takes 2 hours. It would be 4 hours for my project because I asked for 2 of them. Now, they only charge for the plastics that's being used, and they charged me 50 cents for that one. And I think it's 5 cents a gram. So that's how they calculated it out, and it came out to 50 cents. Now, the smaller ones cannot weigh as much as that one, obviously. So I'm expecting that the 2 together might cost me 50 cents to maybe 75 cents, something like that, depending on how heavy the materials come out to be after they print it up. But 2 for about 75 cents. That's my guess, at most. We'll see. We'll see if I'm right. That's a pretty good deal, right? If it feels good, if it works out good, then I'll put it on the Magicycle, and then I will also put it on any other future bike that might come out headed my way. Not that I don't want to support Kevin, he does a good job with this one, and it works really well. I don't have to tape it or anything like that. The other one I had to tape because the design of it is perfectly exactly the same size as this throttle. The problem with that is if it's exactly the same size, then when you tighten it up, it's the same size. It's not going to grip it. The design has to be slightly smaller if you think about it, so that when you tighten it, it's gripping harder onto the throttle. So because it doesn't grip that hard, what I ended up having to do is put some electrical tape underneath the thumb throttle, so that it made the throttle itself thicker, and that gave it something to bite into when you tighten it down. And then it started sliding down because these are tapered, right? It started sliding down, so I put tape around here to keep it from sliding. And then because it had ridges on the design, on the thumb part, it kind of hurt a little bit. So I put tape on that. So the next thing you know, everything's taped. And because everything's taped, it looks like it's jerry-rigged. It doesn't look right. So that's why I'm kind of hoping that this smaller ones are also a little bit smaller in physical size, that I don't have to do all that taping. At worst case, I'm hoping at the worst case is just taping underneath it to make it a little thicker, but not having to tape everything down, and hopefully this part of it here where your thumb goes is nice and smooth, so you don't have to tape that as well. Plus, the Magicycle is the Magicycle. This thing says rad. Not that really makes any difference, but hey, you know, you don't want to cross the brand names around, right? Not that anyone would ever see it anyways, because my thumb is always on it. But I would know it. If it doesn't work, then of course, unless other designs come through, I would probably end up contacting Kevin again and asking to purchase some more of these things, because these work really well. The only thing that I don't like is that the screw that he uses is so long underneath. I know you can't see it. It is so long. And now, granted, it's really not in your way, but if you put your thumb underneath, if you wanted to grip your hand grip, your thumb would hit this screw. I don't tend to ride that way. I tend to ride always like this, where my thumb is up here, and then I just pull with 2 fingers on my brakes. But I would prefer a slightly shorter screw. I'll have to search. I'll have to go to Menards or Home Depot or someplace and see if I can find the right size screw. I don't know what that is, what size screw that is. And see if they have like a 1/2 inch long screw. I think this one might be like an inch long screw. It's a little too long. So, anyways, what else is new? I have some things in the works right now that I really cannot talk about yet, but there's some new things coming along. You can figure that out for yourself what that might mean. Alright, so this guy does not have a leash on his dog, which makes me a little nervous, because dogs tend to like to chase bikes. Apparently this dog doesn't do that. But yeah, he really needs to have that dog on a leash because he cannot control it if the dog decides to take off. So that's why we carry pepper spray in case you need it. Try fighting off a big dog one day. You might want that pepper spray. I got chased by a dog once when I was younger. I told this story a long time ago. Long time ago meaning last year. Yeah, I was a kid. I was riding my bike with my brother. We lived in Chicago, and so we rode our bikes to Wrigley Field, where they have baseball games, right? Not that the Cubs were playing it that day. We just decided we wanted to ride down that area. Yeah, we weren't that far from Wrigley Field, a couple miles. Thank you. Alright, we're coming up to where the elk are again. Let's see if there's any elk again going in this direction. They'll be on your left-hand side if they are. I'll go a little bit slower to see if I can see any. I'll tell you a story about the dog in a minute here. I'm just kind of keeping my eyes open to see if I can find some elk for you here. But they're usually out over here in that fenced-in area. Yeah, good thing they're fenced in. You don't want them roaming wildly out here with us. Okay, we're gonna have to hit these guys with the bell. Nope, no elk, not that I can see. Nope, no elk, not close by, at least. They're somewhere else. Alright, let me tell you the dog story. I'm still looking. Nope, we're out of luck. Okay, so the dog. So we were riding our bikes, we were kids. I was probably maybe 4th or 5th grade, something like that. My brother is a year and a half older than me. So we're riding our bikes, and then there's this big German Shepherd comes out of nowhere. We were very close to Wrigley Field. Comes out of nowhere and starts chasing me. So we ended up splitting up. My brother went one direction, I went in another direction, which was not good for a kid that's only 4th or 5th grade, because I didn't know my way home. But I had no choice. I had to get out of there. So I rode as fast as I could. I was darting in and out of traffic. And then finally a car hits their horn, scares the dog off. I don't know if he almost hit the dog or whatever, but he scares the dog off. The dog goes running in the other direction. That's what saved me. Otherwise that dog would have came after me. Would have bit me and everything. It was a big dog. Ever since then, I've been a little bit nervous about dogs and bikes. And every time I ride my bike, as I pass a lot of dogs, okay, not every time, but as I pass dogs, they're always trying to get off the leash to get to me. And they're always barking at you. I don't know if that's been your experience, but that's been my experience. A lot of dogs try to get me. That's why when I see a dog that's not on a leash, out where on a bike trail, I get a little bit nervous about that. Kind of can't shake that feeling after being chased once before as a kid. So yeah, that's why I have this can of pepper spray. Plus, we're in Chicago, like I said, and doesn't hurt to have a little bit of some type of protection. I don't carry a weapon other than that. A little bit of pepper spray. So, different direction sometimes gives a different feel when we're out in Busse Woods. Now, I've been throttling and pedaling, probably more so throttling than pedaling as of lately now, because when you pedal a certain amount, you start tiring out, you're going to start throttling more. I think we're at that point where I'm throttling a little bit more on this ride right now than pedaling. Sometimes I pedal and throttle at the same time. That eats into the battery, of course, too. So I'm looking at my meter on here, and it shows 4 out of the 5 bars. We've traveled, let me see here, sorry, 24 miles so far since I started my original ride. I've been between pedal assist level 3 and 4 on a Rad Rover. I don't know what their percentage of assist actually is, but between 3 and 4, and I have been throttling as well. So if you think about it, we're doing fairly well on the battery, but these are 52 volt 20 amp hour batteries. All right, so it's got a lot of range, and I got a second battery to back up that battery, so I don't have range anxiety anymore with this bike when I have the 2 batteries with me. But I tell you this, when I lost the 1 battery because I was waiting for the company Unipack Power to give me the better BMS board and to get it fixed up, riding this bike with only 1 battery, I started to get the range anxiety again, even though I don't really have any real fear, because a single battery I can probably do like 45 miles or so, 42 miles with it, riding the way that I do. You'd get more if you ride better than me. But I had that feeling of, okay, what if I go too far? Can I make it back? You know, that's why you'll see me often riding this Rad Rover with both batteries, even though I really don't need it, because then I don't have any of that fear. Even if the battery dies, I have that other battery to bring me back. So the same thing with the Magicycle. If I rolled that bike, I only have the 1 battery. It's a 52 volt 15 amp hour battery, I believe. And we talked about it before, that, you know, if you got a full 750 watt motor in there, you're going to eat up some power to get that speed, to get that hill climbing ability. That cuts into your range. Everything cuts into your range if you use it. So yeah, range anxiety is real. Hey, if I had the ability to carry 3 batteries, I'd probably carry 3 batteries. Yeah, I'm that crazy. I would. I don't want to be stuck anywhere. I want to be able to go distance. You know, there's my wife and I was watching a video on YouTube. These guys are doing a bike ride with a whole bunch of people. It was some type of sponsored bike ride. And I asked her, hey, do you want to do that one day? And she says, yeah, that'd be fun. Then I kept thinking, you know, I can't transport this bike without a bike carrier. We'd have to take the folding bikes to do it. And right now I only have 1 folding bike. That's my wife's. I don't have one. I can't transport this Rad Rover or the Magicycle. And of course, those things, if you only have 1 battery, you can only go so far. Yeah, I think that ride that those guys were on was about 15 miles. And that's not a problem for the range on the e-bike. But to get to something like that might mean I have to ride to get there, so that eats up more battery again. Really, I think to do that type of a ride, a sponsored ride, where you know, there's a whole bunch of people riding together. I'd rather be able to, everyone's out fishing. I'd rather have my bike on a bike carrier, or, you know, a folding bike that I can put inside the vehicle to get myself there first, and then take the bike out and then ride it. That's really, I think, the way to do it. Okay, the wind has definitely picked up out here. I can feel the wind, I can hear the wind. Okay, for that stop sign, car had already stopped for the guy running, and he was just kind of waiting for me to pass. So to do a full stop on that would have been kind of ridiculous because I think it would just irritate him more. He was already waiting for me to pass. To do a full stop would be too much. It would have just dragged it out longer for him, since he wanted me to pass too. All right, so yeah, 11-mile ride around Busse Woods. That's a decent ride, I think, for most people. Most people want to stay maybe in that general mileage range. I've noticed, you know, 11, 15 miles, under 20 miles maybe. But again, I throttle and I also pedal with pedal assist. And I think these larger batteries allow me to do a lot of freedom and choice of how I ride. I can ride faster, I can ride more efficiently, I can pedal if I want, I can not pedal if I want. I can do any way I want to do it. So yeah, having the large batteries is definitely a plus in that sense. On your left. Yeah, so this is a nice area. I mean, you got water on this side, kind of angle here. You got water on this side. I'm trying to angle the camera for you. There you go. Problem with grabbing the camera and turning it is trying to pedal while doing it. So a lot of times I try to grab it with my left hand so I can throttle, not think about the pedaling, and then think a little bit about the camera angling. This is where you have the benefit of having a throttle. Something like that, I would throttle. I wouldn't want to think about pedaling. I could feel the push from the wind. I could also feel the dust being blown in my eyes, is what I'm feeling right now. All right, believe it or not, we have hit the 11-mile mark. We have ridden that 11-mile mark. We're going back up over this, and that brings us over the bridge. All right, so I've done Busse Woods twice. What's my total mileage here? 26.9 miles so far I've been riding non-stop. How can I do it? Better seat, something to sit on, easier. I don't have a suspension seat post. I'm okay with it. Probably easier if you had a suspension seat post, quite frankly. But no, I'm used to it. You know, when I hit over bumps, I tend to stand up on the bike pedals, so I don't feel that. If you had the suspension seat post, you wouldn't even have to stand up, I bet. That's why people like full suspension bike frames and suspension seat posts and everything. Yeah, how much do you want to spend on your bike? You can spend on a whole bunch of stuff if you want. Alright, we're going to head out of here. Anyways, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Talk to you guys next time.